Business owners lament declining patronage, huge losses as power blackout in northern Nigeria lingers. President Tinubu meets with Implementation Committee on crude oil and refined product sales in local currency at State House Abuja. Ride-hailing apps drivers narrate ordeal amid economic downturn. On the foreign scene, Human Rights Watch accused Burkina Faso of putting civilians at risk amid conflict with rebels. Hello and welcome to the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. The news in detail. Ice block sellers in Kano State say they are now forced to rely on supplies from neighboring Niger Republic. This is due to the total blackout in the northern Nigeria in the last 1 week. Sellers say ice is also gotten from Abuja, but the distance and transport costs have sent prices soaring higher. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim, who visited major sellers at different places in the state, reports.
This is Digger off Post Office Road, which is usually full of customers, but now business has stopped. This street is usually jam-packed with people, but now that our business has stopped, even those whose businesses rely on ice have had to stop. Ice sellers in different parts of Kano are seeing the same trend. Prices have risen from just 50 naira per block to up to 2,500 naira. The sellers say blocks come from as far as Abuja and Niger Republic. We usually sell ice here from 100 naira to a little above that. But today, blocks brought in here from Abuja and Niger Republic and other places are even selling for as high as 2,000 to 2,500 naira.
Long one, it's too long one. It comes from Abuja, 2,000 they sell for each one. Even my come to Niger, long one, 1,500, 1,600 they sell from Niger. Before light no day, just a block 15 naira, 17 naira. Light no day kuma block is 2 cost. Each one 1,800 the same block.
For young water sellers like Sani, the situation is even more difficult. With no ice, he can't keep the water cold. This lack of electricity has affected us also, and we don't sell as much as we used to, despite the current economic hardships. Once someone touches the water and realizes it's not cold, they don't buy, and I don't have any means to make the water cold because the ice now has gone beyond what I can buy. Local business and families who depend on affordable ice to preserve food are pleading with the government for help. Cold room operator Muhammad Tajuddin says the ongoing power crisis has left him handicapped. We've been without power for a month now. All our sources of livelihood are gone. We need the government to restore power, especially since we are staying close to a NEPA station here. We usually enjoy power a lot in the past, but right now things are very difficult for us. The blackout in northern Nigeria has exposed the fragile state of the region's power supply. For now, Kano residents will continue to struggle with the high prices as they endure the long wait for power to return. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Phone repairers and butchers in the Jos city center are decrying the decline in their businesses as the power blackout in the northern part of the country continues to linger. The blackout, which also affected Plateau State, has entered its 9th day following the tripping off of the 330 kV between Benue and Enugu State. Ado Musa completes the report.
With the power outage yet to be addressed, business owners in Jos have continued to complain about the impact on their businesses and families, with many saying the situation has made them to lose their capital. They said, apart from losing of their initial capital on a daily basis, they are also experiencing business decline, a situation that had continued unabated.
This lack of light has affected our business. We have low turnover, we have no partners, and when we slaughter the cow, there are so many places that we slaughter the cow and we don't decay. We put it inside the fridge due to the lack of light the meat has already spoiled. Not a lot of damages. We put meat in the fridge thinking that the light will come. We put it up to 2 to 3 days, the meat has already spoiled. So this is a sort of damage to our business.
Seriously, this thing affects our business because of the issue of the light. Now we have a lot of meat that spoil inside our fridge because the market is not moved, and we bring different type of, we have cow meat, we have fish and chickens, all has spoiled.
The light has really affected us in a serious way. So the turnout of the customer in our shop is too very low. It's too very low. You know, and when you talk about my maintenance side, you see, we need lights to maintain phones in order to change battery, change screen, repair phones and other things. So in fact, you can see me where I'm sitting now because there's no light.
The phone repairer, who expressed skepticism that appealing to the government will yield positive results, instead urged people to turn to God, intervene, and make the government take action.
So I don't even know how to call on the government. I can only say, let's come together and pray to God, so that God will help us to talk to the government, because we can't talk to the government now. We can't talk to the government. It's only God.
The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, on Monday said electricity will be restored to the 17 northern states that have experienced outages due to vandalism of the Shiroro-Kaduna transmission line and tripping of transmission line between Benue and Enugu State. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
In the same vein, as the power outage in the north enters its 9th day, some business owners who rely solely on electricity say they have become unemployed following the blackout. Although businesses such as internet cafe services, tailoring and the likes have all been grounded, those that are resorting to alternative power sources to sustain their livelihoods, however, say electricity remains the best source as the appliances are limited when using alternatives. Hassan Koli tells us more.
Many businesses solely depended on electricity to operate functionally across the nation. The recent power outage in the north grounded most of them, as they have no alternative to electricity due to the cost of installing solar power and soaring prices of fuel, making it unaffordable for many businesses to run. I cannot even describe this situation. I operate a business center. Now that there is no power and I cannot afford to buy petrol, I am just sitting here doing almost nothing, which is bad for me and the economy too. You can see my computer, phone, and even the POS machine have all discharged. So I am just managing. We are just managing to run this shop because the solar alternative is not enough to take care of our appliances, as it limits the services we provide here. We only do photocopying and printing, which is far less than the services we usually provide. The government must remember we voted it to serve us and not to make life more difficult for us. Despite a meeting of governors and traditional rulers in Kaduna to look for regional solutions, including power outages, some residents accuse the government of negligence, saying it is not worried about the current power outages, especially in the northern region. Our businesses are suffering a major setback due to power outages. Ordinarily, we struggle to feed ourselves, but with these power outages, it means there will be no water, no grinding machines, and all basic social amenities for us to enjoy. If you add all this to the fuel price crisis, you realize that we are in trouble. which our leaders are not bothered because they are not experiencing any power outages as they have generators. So we urge them to remember hereafter and do the needful. Nigeria's grid has collapsed 8 times this year, with the last 3 happening in October alone, a development that has fueled the recent hardship among the Nigerians. From Gombe, Hassan Koli reporting for Trust TV.
As a solution to these challenges, the federal government says it is working on an independent super grid for each of the 19 northern states in Nigeria. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu made this known after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu on Monday in Abuja. According to him, the president directed that repair works be sped up to restore power to the northern part of Nigeria. The north has been thrown into a blackout for days following the vandalism of some transmission lines, raising concerns among stakeholders in the region and beyond. Also, the Transmission Company of Nigeria has stated that the restoration of the Upper Ugaji line has taken long to complete due to insecurity in the area. Speaking during a press briefing on Tuesday, the managing director of TCN, Abdulaziz Sule, said the engineers working on the line repair work under the surveillance of security personnel and leave the site by 6 p.m. He, however, said the line, which was an alternative route to supply power to Kano, Kaduna and other major cities in the north, will be completed in 2 to 3 days. On what the company is doing to stop the vandalism on transmission line, the TCN said it is working with security agencies to make sure that they patrol the transmission line. He also said the company engages locals and provide them with transportation and telephone services for prompt reporting of suspicious activities around the transmission line. President Bola Tinubu met on Tuesday with the Implementation Committee on Crude Oil and Refined Products Sales in Local Currency at the State House, Abuja. Minister of Finance Wale Edu, who chairs the committee, led the small delegation comprising the chairman of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, and the group CEO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari. The meeting commenced as fuel queues reappeared at many fuel stations in the Federal Capital Territory. Gahide Amodu reports.
At some minutes past 2 p.m. on Tuesday, members of the committee filed into the council chambers at State House, Abuja. They must have driven through some of the streets of Abuja and seen some of the long queues that had appeared at fuel stations. Residents believe that when these queues start forming, a petrol price increase at the pumps is imminent. In early October, the federal government began implementing a policy to sell crude oil to the Dangote refinery in Naira rather than US dollars. This, however, has not in any way mitigated the price volatility at fuel stations. Chairman of the Dangote Group says his refinery can bridge supply gaps as long as marketers and the NNPCL come to evacuate petrol from his facility.
I believe with this increase of the price, we are ramping up because it's a brand new refinery. So obviously we are now at about 420,000 barrels per day. We still have 1/3 to go. Once we get there, we have enough Naira crude, we'll be able to fully satisfy the market. But when NNPC refineries work going forward, then Nigeria will be actually one of the biggest exporter of petroleum products in history.
This confirms that independent marketers will now be brought into the fray to lift petrol from the refinery. And to take care of price volatility and unstable foreign exchange, the Afrexim Bank has now been brought in as an intermediary. This will ensure that all parties, the seller and the buyer of crude, are able to complete their transactions.
Market pricing of petroleum products, and relatedly, we have market pricing of foreign exchange. That has set the economy on the path to industrialization, because with private sector refining of crude oil, we now have raw materials, not just for agriculture, but for industry, for chemicals, for paints, for building materials, for textiles.
At the end of the day, we have also Afrexim Bank, which I think they are now going to be the go in between. You know, they will now make sure that they are going to be like the settlement bank, you know, between Dangote, other refiners, and NNPC in terms of crude, and then in terms of the selling of the products.
All parties at the meeting have expressed commitment to ensuring that implementation of local sale in Naira of crude petroleum to domestic refineries and the correlating sale of petroleum products in Naira is fully achieved. It goes without saying that despite all the promises by the committee to overcome teething problems and initial obstacles, what is important to Nigerians is the adequate fuel supply at prices that will not impact negatively on their lives. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
As the hardship occasioned by the increase in the price of petrol bites harder, drivers of hailing apps, also known as ride-hailing apps, have been telling Trust TV how the economic downturn has impacted their businesses. According to the drivers, while most of the apps have increased their fares, such increases have not been commensurate with the present economic realities, hence the need to renegotiate with customers offline. Trust TV's Noel Sampson reports.
For some ride-hailing apps drivers, it has been a huge struggle meeting daily, weekly, or monthly targets as the economic downturn has negatively impacted the business.
The main challenge on the app is that they can give you an order, you get, but the order is not coming by satisfaction. You as a driver, you can decide, you know, to at least talk to the customer if he can accept or they can accept. You can do away with the app, as in like bargain out of the app.
Sometimes you have to negotiate with the passenger. Aside from the app that is initiated, the price that is initiated on the app, because the distance you are going to cover, that amount given by the app doesn't commiserate with it. It doesn't match. So when you go, it's like you're wasting your fare for nothing. So it's really, really hard on us. We are only working to eat. You don't save anymore. To repair your car is a problem.
To make up for the operational costs like fuel and car maintenance, these drivers say they have resorted to charging their clients offline. However, the challenge is that not many of the customers agree to be charged offline.
Seriously, it's just like 40%. It's just like 40%.
Like before, they used to, yes, I agree, but you know, recently they don't, because given the security challenges in Abuja, particularly kidnappings, whatever they're about, they are no more agreeing with going offline. When you tell them you want to go offline to avoid the apps from taking that percentage, they will say no. They are concerned with their security too. So you as a driver, you don't have to insist.
Francis Chukwu, a businessman who makes use of these hailing apps for his business, tells us how he handles the offline chat situations with the hailing app drivers.
It just depends if I am in a hurry. Because what they do is, when they come, they give you a different amount. And if you cannot pay, you just cancel the ride. It's either you cancel the ride from your end or the riders cancel the ride. So when they cancel the ride, you can rebook for another ride. And hopefully enough, you can get someone that will go for that amount on the app. But if you are in a hurry and you need your goods to be delivered, or you need to be in a place at a time, you just pay the additional amount that they are adding to it.
With transportation remaining a critical aspect of daily business transactions, operators of these ride-hailing apps, as well as other Nigerians, are hopeful that government will intervene with alternatives to petrol or effect a reduction in the pump price of fuel. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The House of Representatives has initiated an investigation into the alleged assault on a boat driver, Stephen Abuwatseya, by the member representing Abia North and South Federal Constituency of Imo State, Alex Ukweche. During Tuesday's plenary session, the House referred Ukweche to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges following a point of privilege raised by Julius Ihombere, the majority leader. Ihombere stated that the Parliament has a duty to safeguard its reputation and shared that he had received numerous calls and messages expressing concern over Ukweche's actions. The majority leader emphasized the importance of lawmakers acting responsibly to uphold the image of the Parliament. In response, Ukweche apologized, admitting there was no justification for his behavior despite the provocation. The Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kalu, who presided over the session, acknowledged Ukweche's remorse, noting that his apology was emotional and very touching. He stated that while there were public calls for Ukweche's suspension, the House would allow the Ethics Committee to conduct a proper review first.
But I have a responsibility to say that this House will not sit and accommodate any aberration. In fact, if you look at Order 5E, it sets out very clearly how the House should deal with anybody, any sort of infraction, aberration, or misconduct by a member of the House.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I just want to state once again that I am human. Even though there was things were said, and those things I regret. I apologize to all Nigerians. Regardless of the provocation, there should be no reason why I should react in that form. So I want to use this opportunity to appeal to all Nigerians. Let us let what has happened remain in the past, and let us forge forward.
In line with the prayers of the leader of the House, that this matter be referred to the Committee on Ethics and Privilege for him to be heard. His appeal was very emotional, very touching, shows remorse. You know, I was touched hearing it from here. But that is not enough. I know you were touched as well.
One of the victims of the recent demolition exercise at Malali in Kaduna North local government area of the state by officials of the Kaduna State Urban Planning Development Agency, Yahya Gilima, has described the exercise as illegal and is therefore demanding justice. Gilima insists that his house was demolished despite acquiring all the necessary documents from the Kaduna State Urban Planning Development Agency and other relevant agencies before building the house over 2 decades ago. Trustee Bello Musa, who visited the demolished area, reports that the family is still devastated after the house they lived in was pulled down. The report.
A visit to the area reveals that most parts of the residence have been reduced to rubble following the demolition, leaving the family devastated and traumatized.
After 11 p.m. on Sunday, they came with bulldozers and started bulldozing the whole house, with my children and my family inside. It was by the grace of God that nobody was killed.
And then eventually my son came in and he kept insisting that I should come out, I should come out, I should come out. And before I left my room, I had this banging sound. They were trying to destroy that generator house.
According to the family, they were given only a short notice to vacate the house before the demolition exercise.
They sent the threat on Friday in the evening, when everybody else would have vacated offices. So I was thinking it's not even actually official, because by that time there was nobody at work. So who sent it? Maybe it's some kind of threat from some other people.
The people that pasted the notice, they left a number. I called the number. He said, "Sir, I'm not the one who is doing this. It's my boss." He said I should come and put that. Please call the legal advisor of Kaduna State Urban Development Board. I said, okay. He sent me the number. I called that number. He refused to take the call.
According to him, he has been occupying the building which he built for over 2 decades.
This property was built with their own permission. I photocopied all the drawings of this property that was approved by them, by Kasubda themselves, with their signature, with their stamp, everything. But there was no way I'm going to take it to them before Monday, because there is no office opened. And a case is said it's in court. What remains for them is to go and to check whether this case is in court, really. Not to start taking actions.
The Kaduna State Urban Planning and Development Agency also responded to the accusation of illegal demolition of the structure by the Gilima family.
If he claimed that he have all the paper, I know that Kasubda don't demolish any structure that fulfill all the necessary requirements needed.
The family says members of their household are now at the mercy of God, as they have squeezed themselves into a small space in the remaining part of the demolished building. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And to matters of security, troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army Jalingo in Taraba State on Monday burst a kidnap syndicate and arrested 3 suspects in a targeted operation to curb criminal activities in the state. In a statement released by the Acting Assistant Director, 6th Brigade Army Public Relations, Captain Olubodunde Oni, the troops from the 6th Brigade and Sector 3 Operation Well-Stroke during the operation dismantled the notorious kidnapping syndicate that had been terrorizing Jalingo and Low local government areas. According to the statement made available to journalists in Jalingo on Tuesday, the troops first apprehended 2 suspects, Ali Idi and Haruna Umar, on October 22, 2024, during a raid on a hotel in the Mayo Dasa area of Jalingo. According to the statement, a search on their mobile phones uncovered incriminating evidence, including a photograph of Haruna holding an AK-47 rifle alongside an unidentified accomplice. The investigation pointed to the gang's primary hideout at Kona Mountain in Jalingo local government area, where other members were reportedly stationed. Acting on this intelligence, troops launched a follow-up operation at Kona Mountain on October 23, resulting in the capture of the gang leader Dahiru D, also known as Yellow. During interrogation, Dahiru confessed to a recent kidnapping operation involving 3 victims from whom the gang had extorted a ransom of 6 million naira. The federal government says it has arrested 3 Chinese nationals and 2 Nigerians for illegal mining in Nasarawa State. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, disclosed this in a statement by his spokesman, Shegun Tomori, on Monday in Abuja. He said the suspects were arrested at an illegal mining site in Rafin Gabas, Aguada, located in Kakona local government area. He said the company involved started operations in 2021, resulting in significant revenue losses to the federal government. The ministry's mining marshals, set up to safeguard mining sites across the country, carried out the arrests based on credible intelligence. The minister stated that over 200 illegal miners have been arrested so far, with about 140 undergoing prosecutions nationwide. You're watching the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. Still ahead, we will take a look at how the Igbos and their Hausa counterparts are enjoying a cordial relationship in Adamawa, as exemplified in the annual Igbo Day celebration in the state. We'll bring you details of this story and more after the break. We'll be right back. It's nice to have you join us again. Let's have a second look at some of our top stories. We told you that business owners lament decline in patronage, huge losses as power blackout in northern Nigeria lingers. You also heard President Tinubu meets with Implementation Committee on Crude Oil and Refined Product Sales in local currency at State House Abuja. And to other stories. Following the directives from the Non-Teaching Staff Union of Universities and the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities to embark on an indefinite nationwide strike, the Oyo State branch on Tuesday commenced an industrial strike over unpaid 4-month salaries. Speaking with journalists after the University of Ibadan, Sanu and Nasu followed the national directive to down tools, the Oyo State branch chairman of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities of Ibadan, Ogunlade Oluwafemi, and his counterpart from the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities expressed disappointment and frustration, stating that numerous letters, meetings and protests have yielded no results. They added that the union has exhausted all avenues, saying the only option left is for them to go on strike. The labor leaders lamented over the hardship the members of the association are confronted with within the period of those years they have not been able to get their entitlement. He posited that the union's demands include payment of the 4-month withheld salaries, improved remuneration and allowances, and implementation of the 2009 agreements.
What do we do again? The only thing that we have done in the circumstances is that we have not carried arms against government. So the only tool that we have at our disposal to actually press on our demands is to go on strike. If that is the only language that they understand, then we must use it. And that's exactly what is happening now. We must get our salaries. We work for it.
2009 agreement is meant to be renewed every 5 years. But up to this moment, nothing is being done. So we are still in 2009, even in 2024. So all these are some out of many things that we have been agitating for, asking the government. Poor funding of the university, a lot of things, our withheld salary, N allowance, 50 billion N allowance. Government did not do anything. They were only promising us, and we are tired of these fake promises.
President Bola Tinubu has launched Nigeria's 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem at the Council Chamber of the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. Speaking at a brief ceremony on Tuesday at the State House, Abuja, President Tinubu acknowledged the role of Nigeria's armed forces as the country's last line of defense. Kehinde Amodu reports.
A total of 750 million naira has been put together as donations as the Armed Forces Remembrance Day emblem is unveiled. The act is significant as the armed forces continue to toil day and night at different theaters of war to defend the country's sovereignty. President Tinubu is pledging to prioritize the welfare of servicemen and women as they secure the country's territorial integrity and her citizens. To demonstrate that this is not an empty promise, the president is reiterating his administration's commitment to supporting military personnel and honoring those who lost their lives in the line of duty. Tinubu also noted the pivotal role in security in Nigeria's economic future, pledging continued allocation of resources to address security challenges across the country.
We take today to remember our fallen heroes who had sacrificed their lives, men and women, for the unity, stability, and progress of this country. We are committed to their values, their principle, their belief, and the unity and stability of this country as we pass on to the next generation a banner without stain.
Tuesday's ceremony also featured several significant donations as a gesture of support for the armed forces. On behalf of the federal government, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation pledged 500 million naira. The National Assembly, represented by the President of the Senate, contributed 200 million naira, and celebrating themselves, the nation's security chiefs collectively committed 50 million naira on behalf of the military and police.
I have to make this announcement on this very solemn, very historic and worthy occasion. As His Excellency has stated, those left behind by those who pay the price that we may live should at all times be supported. His Excellency has never wavered in that direction.
We therefore honor our unforgettable heroes whose legacy is woven in the very fabric of our nation. Today we stand united to launch the 2025 envelope and a field fund in honor of our ever-respected veterans and members of the Nigerian Armed Forces. This initiative is crucial in our effort to support our veterans and their family, ensuring they receive the recognition and assistance they rightfully deserve for keeping Nigeria united, safe and committed to the international peace and security.
The emblem launch signifies the start of activities towards the marking of next year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day on the 15th of January. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
The Igbo Socio-Cultural Group in Adamawa State has applauded Governor Madu Umaru Fintiri for his transparent and inclusive leadership, fostering a peaceful environment that allows their businesses to thrive. At their annual Igbo Day celebration, the association also recognized several indigenous Adamawa leaders serving in Governor Fintiri's Executive Council. Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
At the Igbo Day celebration, this socio-cultural group honored Nigeria's diversity and championed unity. Recognizing Adamawa indigents with chieftaincy titles, they affirmed their commitment to one Nigeria and peace. They commended Governor Madu Fintiri, hailing him as a key architect of modern Adamawa and a leader whose strong relations have positively impacted their businesses.
Well, Madu Fintiri is a great man. He's a good governor. He's doing very well, and he has a very good working relationship with the Igbo community here. In fact, we have to thumb up for him. He's a great man here, so the Igbos cannot do without him.
Adamawa citizens at the event highlighted the benefits of unity and peaceful coexistence, voicing their hopes and prayers for Nigeria's success.
Obviously, being a northerner, particularly a House of Fulani, for me, I see it as an opportunity to unite us the more. It's a title that it's a first of its kind in the history of the Igbo community in Adamawa. Of course, the title goes by the name of Agu Idi Ibube, which means the great lion or the glorious lion.
The way this ceremony is being celebrated today, I think, as you can see Igbos, non-Igbos, you can see Christians, you can see non-Christians, all mixed up. And this is for unity, and this is what we are actually looking for in Nigeria. Any opportunity that is there for us to be brought together in order to live as brothers and also to celebrate together, we should maximize that opportunity.
You can agree with me, with the coming of Governor Fintiri, security is stable. Igbo are going on with their legitimate business peaceful in Adamawa State. And national unity is paramount to each and everyone.
Igbo Day offers a vibrant platform for individuals and communities to celebrate their rich traditions, showcasing customs, language, arts, music, and dance. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
The Shippers Council of Nigeria has raised concerns over the financial losses resulting from delays in implementing the International Cargo Tracking Note contract. Executive Secretary of the Council, Pius Akuta, who disclosed this during a House of Representatives hearing, said Nigeria has lost around $2.5 billion over the past 5 years, or approximately $500 million annually, due to the contract's non-implementation. The report.
The hearing, organized by the House Committee on Shipping Services, Customs, Ports and Harbour, and Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, aims to investigate reasons behind the contract delay. Obumneme Onwenyanwa, representing Antase, informed the committee that his company had obtained approval to implement the ICTN project backed by the Federal Executive Council. He added that under the current administration, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) and Nigerian Customs Service (NCS) are considering similar technology in the oil and gas sector at a higher cost. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, represented by the Director of Maritime Services, Babatunde Sule, noted that the initial contract was awarded in error and that Minister Boyega Oyetola had made efforts to revive it, though without success. Chairman of the Shipping Lines Association of Nigeria, Boma Alabi SAN, opposed the proposed cargo tracking bill, describing it as a toll gate for the government.
5 years or thereabouts that this has not been implemented, Nigeria has lost not less than about $2.5 billion. Yes. So if we implement it, that is what we should be able to put in the economy within a period of a few years.
I think, like I said, apart from what we are doing, as a country, we need to get it right. We must have a legality. No individual can hold this country to ransom. Nigeria is India. That means all of us together. The
memo that went to Vakura contained this name. But in the course of issuing the letter of award, it shouldn't have been issued that way to these people because it's just one contract. They are not separate contracts. It's just one contract.
So my point is that since we are always liaising with the Ministry of Transport, Marine and Blue Economy, the process of first determining implementation, the second, responsibility to the relevant agencies, and then the enforcement modalities will have to be worked out.
In this country, we don't have any intelligence on trade. We don't know what is coming, where it is coming, who is bringing it. That is very vital. Here, we're going to we'll give you from source the information coming.
Committee Chairman Abdul Samad Dasuki concluded by stating that further hearings would be held to clarify outstanding issues, with the session adjourning after input from various participants.
And to the red chambers of the National Assembly, a bill seeking to strengthen the capacity of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation to safeguard depositors, ensure the stability of financial institutions and promote trust in the banking system has passed for third reading in the Senate. The bill's passage followed the presentation of a report by the Committee on Banking and Other Financial Institutions. Our National Assembly correspondent brings details in this report.
The bill, titled NDIC Act No. 33 of 2023 and sponsored by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking and Other Financial Institutions, Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, aims to make the NDIC more effective, especially with the rapidly evolving nature of the financial sector.
The bill basically seeks to amend the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation Act No. 33 of 2023 to make the corporation more effective, safeguard its independence and autonomy, and to bring it in line with current realities and best practices. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Bill 2024 is thus a critical piece of legislation aimed at strengthening the Nigerian financial system.
There is a need to guarantee, secure the independence of the corporation so that it can not only back but bite in the discharge of its function without necessarily dancing to the tune of the whims and caprices of the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Senator Abiru also revealed that the objective of the bill would later rest claims that it was initially assented to by former President Muhammadu Buhari.
The bill seeks to amend the provision to bring it in line with and in consonance with Mr. President's power of appointment as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended.
A bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation Act number 63 of 2023 to make the corporation more effective, ensure its independence and autonomy in line with Section 1, Subsection 3 of the Principal Act, to bring it in line with current realities and best practices, and for other related matters 2024 third reading taken and passed. It is therefore necessary that at all times we try to amend our laws to reflect the current realities.
After clause-by-clause consideration, the bill passed for third reading. From the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
It's time now to join Yusuf Akogu for the business news.
Time for some business stories. Nigeria's local currency, the Naira, which has lost about 70% of its value against the dollar, is now the third worst performing currency in the world after the Lebanese pound and the Ethiopian birr. According to data compiled by Bloomberg, the Naira weakened 4.3%, the most since October 15 to 1,670 per dollar on Monday. The weakness followed a 72% plunge in the dollar liquidity to $81 million, its lowest level in more than a month. Liquidity in the foreign exchange market has remained low as the West African nation prioritized building its foreign reserves. Africa's largest crude producer has struggled to stabilize its currency since it was allowed to trade freely against the dollar in June last year. South Africa grocery retailer Pick n Pay is set to exit Nigeria by selling its 55% share of a joint venture as part of plans to restructuring outside of its home market. CEO Sin Summers said on Monday that retailer has 2 stores in Nigeria, having entered the market less than 5 years ago through a partnership with AG Leventis. The exit of the store adds to the growing numbers of international companies leaving the shores of the country due to growing threat to their businesses. Multiple multinationals have left Nigeria by either scaling down operations, transferring ownership, or selling their stakes. According to an economist and former director of research and advocacy at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Vincent Wani, the exodus of multinationals from the Nigerian economy has caused the country 94 trillion naira loss of output in 5 years. NGX closed Tuesday trading in red as profit-taking hit medium-cap equities. Let's see how it went down today. Leading the losers today is Cadbury Nigerian PLC, down 9.89% to close at 16 naira and 40 kobo per share there. Academy PLC down 9.87% to close at 2 naira and 83 kobo per share as well. Of course, UPDC also ended on the negative side of the market, 9.76% it lost to close at 1 naira and 48 kobo per share. Of course, this has dragged down the index downward by 0.69%. Volume of trade 306.69 million shares, value at 7.70 billion naira in a days of 9,416 did exchanges among investors this Tuesday. Looking at the top trading equities by volume, Sham PLC leader table 80.60 million volume of shares trade, UBA 70.27 million shares trade, of course Transcorp 31.53 volume of shares. It also traded at the close of business this Tuesday. Of course, some equities ended on the gaining side of the market. NNFM Northern Nigerian Flour Mill PLC leader table 10% is gained to close at 37 naira and 40 kobo per share there. Of course, Unicel also gained 9.87% to close at 4 naira and 23 kobo per share. Of course, TPLC also recorded 9.81% gain to close at 2 naira and 35 kobo per share. Of course, that's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Tuesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Oil price rose on Tuesday after toppling 6% in the previous session as U.S. planned to buy oil for the strategic petroleum reserve provided some support through wider concerns about weakening future demand growth exerted pressure. Global benchmark Brent moves up to $72 a barrel. For the pay basket, dealers offer $73 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogun.
Thank you, Yusuf Akogo, for the business news. At the developments away from Nigeria, Human Rights Watch on Tuesday accused Burkina Faso's government of putting civilians at unnecessary risk after at least 133 people were killed and hundreds wounded in an attack on the Barsalogo commune. The government, which denied the allegations, has relied heavily on armed civilian militias in its efforts to defeat violent Islamist groups. And in sports, let's join Emmanuel Fashemi for some sports news.
The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Sport, Kabiru Amadu, has again reaffirmed the commitment of the House to create the right environment for the new-look National Sports Commission to thrive. The chairman, who represents Gusau and Tisafe Federal Constituency of Zamfara State, stated this on Monday when he met with the new NSC chairman, Shehu Diko, in his office. The courtesy visit was part of Diko's consultation and stakeholder engagement following his recent appointment by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the head of Nigerian sports. According to the lawmaker, the NSC chairman's visit was to seek cooperative working relationship between the National Sports Commission and the National Assembly, adding that the House has assured him of total support. The House Committee chairman further charged the new NSC boss to ensure that all sporting federations in the country feel his impact as he steers the wheel of Nigerian sports into a whole new level of growth and sustainability. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has picked Monday, November 18th for Nigeria's final 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying match against Rwanda, scheduled for the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. The match, the sixth encounter, will draw the curtain on the race from Group D for slots at the 35th Africa Cup of Nations finals to be held in Morocco between December 2025 and January 2026. CAF has also appointed Moroccan match officials for the game, with Sami Guezaz in the role of referee at the encounter that will commence at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. His compatriots Zakaria Brinsi, Abdesamad Abetun, and Ketchav Mustafa will serve as Assistant Referee 1, Assistant Referee 2, and 4th official respectively. Prosper Harrison Ado from Ghana will be the match commissioner, while Somalian Ali Muhammad Ahmed will be in the role of referee assessor. For the match day 5 clash with Benin Republic at the Stade Felix Hopepegeni on Thursday, 14 November, that will commence at 7 p.m. Cote d'Ivoire time and 8 p.m. Nigerian time, CAF has appointed officials from Senegal to superintend, with Issa C to be referee, his compatriot Jibri Kamara, Noah Bongura, and El Haji Amadou C will serve as Assistant Referee 1, Assistant Referee 2, and 4th official respectively. Ivorian Rennie Williams Sere will be commissioner, while Angola Ignacio Manuel Candido will be referee assessor. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashini.
Very well then, that's about the size of our package for you tonight on the News Hour on Trust TV. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.